My name is Wayne Kraus, and I'm going to be in charge of the umpires here at St. Matthews Little League this year. I do want to kind of share with you my philosophy about umpiring and what I'm kind of looking for this year from both the umpires and the coaches, if you will. First of all, I know some of y'all probably know who I am, maybe. For those of you that don't, I umpired here at St. Matthews many, many years ago. I umpired professionally for about 7.5 years. And am known as a pretty good rules person. What I want to talk about today this morning, I'll break it up into kind of two things. Number one, my philosophy of umpiring and what I hope to do this year, what we hope to accomplish. And number two, the relationship between umpires and coaches and what each can expect or should expect from the other on the ball field. First of all, with regard to what I plan to do with umpires, we'll have training sessions. I've got a couple of other ex-professional umpires that are going to come in near the start of the season and work with guys both in the classroom, learning rules and some do's and don'ts that you can actually go over in a classroom setting, and then actually physically getting on the field and show them where you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to move around, what you're supposed to do, getting in the right position. I've always said that most of the battle for umpiring is getting in the right position and being emphatic and controlling the game. Most umpires can get most calls right. It's just a matter of selling it and kind of being more in charge and really caring about what you're doing. For me, umpiring is a lot more than just knowing the rules. You can take an attorney and teach them the rules, but they might not be a very good umpire. Umpiring is about controlling the game, controlling the flow of the game, and letting the game be about the players and not the fans in the stands or the umpires on the field. When I say handling games, most of the time there's not an issue. There's not that funky play, that thing that you need to have an argument about. That doesn't happen all that much. Granted, that's what makes ESPN, top 10 plays or whatever every night, but that's not the norm. The norm is a good flow of a baseball game, and a good umpire should be able to, not even be noticed, so to speak. What I want to instill in everyone also is a good, positive attitude. Nothing upsets me more than the umpire that just shuffles onto the field, shirt tail hanging out, hat backwards, that sort of thing, looking like let's get this thing over with so I can get my paycheck. I don't like that at all, and I won't tolerate that. I want kids that care about what they're doing, that want to get better at what they do, and feel a sense of pride being out there on the ball field. And one of the things that I'm also going to go over with the umpires, and I know a lot of them are going to be younger, high school, college age. We will have some, older umpires, I'm sure. I really don't know exactly who my entire crew is going to be, so to speak, but addressing the coaches professionally, as coach or sir. I just think that that's, proper to do on the ball field regardless of age. And I think that, coaches should kind of address the umpires the same way. Sir, Mr. Umpire, that sort of thing. If everybody kind of plays by those same rules, it'll make for a more, harmonious, hopefully, demeanor for everyone on the field. The other thing I want to talk about is kind of what coaches should expect from umpires and what umpires should expect from coaches. Now, umpires are not going to get every play right. They're just not. You can watch the major leagues, you can watch any level of umpiring, any level of baseball, and they're not going to get them all right. But the umpires that are trying their best, I think, need to be respected for that. The lower, how can I put this? At the higher levels of baseball, if you watch to see the bats play, if you watch U of L, Division I NCAA or minor league ball, or certainly the Cincinnati Reds, players and coaches pretty much know when an umpire misses one. They pretty much know. And there are super close plays that a lot of times fans think, wow, they should have gone and argued, I think he was safe, when the players know that he was out. As you kind of go down the level, so to speak, as far as the level of baseball, lots of times, close plays, everybody thinks that it went their way. Everybody on this side genuinely thinks a player was safe, and everybody on this side genuinely thinks that he's out. Our umpires are going to have to call it one way or the other. And it's important to realize that there is no favoritism, no, oh gosh, that side yelled at me last time, I don't want it's this turn's side to yell at me this time. We won't have any of that. They're going to do the best they can, and they just need to be respected for that. What coaches, I kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier, what coaches should also expect from the umpires is a professional attitude. An attitude of they don't have to think that they're always right and they always have to get the last word in. Umpires should listen. Umpires should know when a coach should be allowed to come talk to him and when to say, okay, look, coach, that's enough now. We've already talked about this. Let's let it go. And hopefully I'm going to be able to teach the guys kind of where that gray line is, if you will. Again, they have to have a good understanding of the game. Sometimes the best umpires aren't the best former players, if you will, but they at least understand the game. A lot about umpiring is just right and wrong. Who's doing what's fair and who's cheating or trying to bend the rules or whatever. If you have a good understanding of the game, it doesn't matter how good or bad a player you may have been or if you ever even were a player. If you understand the game and have an appreciation for it and always want to learn more, those will make for very good umpires. What the umpires should, I think, expect from the coaches is to have people that aren't going to badger them. If an umpire is doing their best and has been trained and is trying, I think that's about all you can ask for really at this level of baseball. I can promise you that they're going to do a decent job. They really are. The coach who's out there thinking, I need to complain about every close pitch so that I get that pitch called for me in the 6th inning. Those coaches are just no fun to be around for the players, the fans, the umpires, anybody. The badgering I don't think really has a place at this level. It really doesn't have a place, in higher levels of baseball, to be honest with you. Neither the umpires nor the coaches should be the focus of the game, ever. It's about the kids. That's the only reason we're out there. And I've seen umpires who feel like, by golly, I'm in charge and, I'm gonna show them who's boss out here. Don't need those kind of guys calling baseball games. Also don't need coaches who feel like, I'm the greatest thing since Earl Weaver and I should be coaching in the World Series. That's not really probably appropriate for St. Matthews Little League. The other thing, I guess the last thing I would say is that, at this level of baseball, everybody's learning. Players are learning, coaches are learning, umpires are learning. If these guys were so good at umpiring, they'd be doing the U of L games. They'd be doing the Louisville Bats or whatever. It is kind of a learning experience. And the last thing I'd kind of like to leave with is one of the things when I met with the board of directors, or when they met me, I guess I should say, and they talked about how maybe the need for having some adults do the, whatever it is, 8-year-old, machine pitch because that's where we have trouble. And I said, I don't get that at all. I really don't. I think that should be a learning area, if you will, for umpires just as well. I think that it's absolutely appropriate for 14, 15, 16-year-old kids to work those games, as long as they work hard and are doing their best. It is not the place for coaches to belittle and badger officials. It is certainly not the place for fans to do so either. I've got a 7-year-old. I could not imagine, I don't know, behaving like that in front of him, to be honest with you. I believe that it's the coach's responsibility as the leader of the teams to kind of lay the foundation with the parents with, hey, look, if there's something that needs to be talked to about the umpire, I'll do it, okay? And the umpires will be trained to let the coaches come and talk to them about stuff, okay? It's not going to be a, you versus me. That's not what we're going for in Little League Baseball. However, what we also don't want is just, legions of parents and fans feeling that they can, get rid of, their 40-hour work week of hostility by screaming at a 16-year-old, for an hour and a half on a Saturday morning. I just don't think that's appropriate either. So if the coaches, just take a positive step by saying, look, folks, I'll take care of this. I'll take care of it. It's okay. I'll take care of it. And then the umpires and the coaches do have a rapport like that. That's going to be much more positive. I mean, think about it, how much more positive that'll be for all the 8-year-olds that are, watching and taking this in. It'll just be better for everyone. On my end, I can promise that the umpires are going to do their absolute best and that they are going to do a good job. They're going to make mistakes, but hey, I'll be making mistakes, doing college ball and stuff this year, I'm sure. I'll be around the fields, and I will always be, come up and talk to me anytime you want. Ask me questions about anything you want. Hopefully we can kind of develop a real, positive relationship and make the umpiring the best it can possibly be at St. Matthews. And I thank you all for your time.